Man pages, or the manual pages, have been around since early Unix. They're the go-to documentation for learning about what the current options are or usage of any command on the system itself. The basic syntax of the man pages is the command man and then what man page that you want to look at. For example, man date will show me information about the date command. At the top, we see a name with a synopsis. Date is a print or set the system date and time. We then have an actual section known as synopsis and a description. In the synopsis section, what we see is the basic usage of the command. In the description section, we begin to see details about what options are available and how they might be used. If I scroll down, which I can do with the arrow keys or the space bar, I see a whole variety of information about this particular command. At the bottom, in this case, I begin to find a section known as examples, a little bit about the date string, the author, copyright, and see also. There are commonalities amongst all of the man pages, but not all man pages have all of the same sections. Let's look at a couple of others. For example, man to find out about the man pages and that command itself. Here again at the top I have the name and a short description of what this is used for. It's an interface to the online reference manuals. Here the synopsis section is much larger with a lot more detail about the options that are available and how they can be used. There's still a description section which again shows me information about how things are laid out. Here it's describing the different numbers that you see for the different sections of the manual pages. You can think of these as volumes on a bookshelf from back when man pages were actually printed documentation. They'll also tell you that there are conventional sections such as name and synopsis and configuration. And they'll show you some of the syntax that's used, such as when it uses bold text or uses braces in order to hold particular information. It then gives examples, an overview, and I can use, again, the page down key as well to move down. Eventually, I find a section here known as options that give information about the options. A little bit different from the date man page, which put these descriptions in the description section. If I continue working my way towards the end, which I can actually jump to the end with a capital G, usually near the end of each of the man pages is where you'll find things like the see also, other related commands. In this case, talking about the less command and apropos and man path and others. There's also a history, and I can arrow up to see other files that are related to this, or in this case also variables or environment information that's related to this particular command. To get out of a man page, I need the Q key to quit. If I look at the man on ls, ls is used to list directory contents. Here they've done a synopsis that's very short, simply saying that you can give multiple options followed by multiple files. Then in the description, they begin to show what some of those options could be, showing everything, all, including hidden files. If I scroll down a bit, I'll find the D option for directory, listing directories themselves and not their contents. A little further down, I would find the L option for specifying a long listing format. These are options that I have demonstrated in previous lessons. Again, a capital G will allow me to jump to the end where I would find a see also for other information. In this case, pointing towards another type of documentation, the info pages. Man cal. Cal will display a calendar, again showing options. In this case, I can specify days, months, and years. It's not an interactive calendar, but simply a calendar that says that the first is on a Monday, perhaps for a specific month. I can specify 1 month, 3 months, etc. So if I want to use cal, it'll show the current month. If I say cal -3, it'll show me 3 months. And I learned that this option is available and what it does by reading through the man pages. There are common methods of navigating through these man pages. Many of these are shown in the man page for man themselves, but I'll review a few of them. Again, I can use the arrow keys to go line by line. I can use page down and page up. I can also use the space bar to advance a single page. I can use a capital G to jump to the end of the document, or a lowercase g to take me up to the top of the document. I can also search in the man pages. I do this with a slash. When I press the slash key, /, I'll get a prompt at the bottom where I can specify what search string that I want to look for. Manual pager utilities. Pager is something that I'm looking for. If I use an N, I'll find the next instance of that and jump through to look at this information. I'm pointing out pager because it happens to be a term that's specific to using on the man pages on how it's displayed one page at a time. It's actually a setting where you can specify what pager you want to use. The default that's used is a command called less, and I can do a man space less in order to get information on what I can do with this particular pager. This is where I'll find the documentation on how to navigate. Things like the space bar going forward, the G key taking me to the top, or the capital G taking me to the end. This is also where I'll learn that it is the Q key that quits out of less, and therefore also the Q key that switches and exits out of a man page.